Jolantru, and welcome to Shadowstar. I'm Captain Ri'shad, aka the Renegade, and this is a Starship versus review video for a ship that hasn't come out yet, so this recording isn't taking place within Star Trek Online. But we are going to be going heavy on this versus. The ship in question is not going to be facing one opposite ship. No, this ship is going to have to face its predecessors and its rivals, both standard and fleet variations, since the ship in question is a promo pack ship. Now, the ship, when it was announced, caused a huge stir in the fanbase and both excited half the fanbase while disappointing the other half. There are plenty of reasons to criticize Cryptic right now, but there's also things to commend. To be totally frank, I do see an irony that this ship has been treated the way it has been. So, without further ado, shall we begin? Here is the toughest, fastest and most powerful ship in Starfleet. Since it's coming with that name, it technically doesn't have to be the toughest, fastest and most powerful, since this ship itself in question is actually charted, first went into service before Star Trek Online even kicks off. Which means this ship could actually be weaker than just about any other ship in Star Trek Online, and it wouldn't really be out of place. But it's a promo ship, we're all expecting it to be very strong, that's why we're doing this versus video. Things I do want to comment on before we get into the physical stats is the design of the ship. I'm very glad that within Star Trek Picard they used the concept arts of, well, the designer, we all know the legend, used concept arts that he actually worked on with Star Trek Online in order to create this ship. So it's funny enough, actually combines original Star Trek Online concepts to create this ship anyway. So no wonder it doesn't really stand out. It doesn't feel like it'll be out of place in Star Trek Online. In fact, it fits better than most ships do. However, that is about the best credit I can give to this ship, because from that we have to go into the fact that this is actually an offset branch of the Avenger class and the Arbiter class, which will be two of the ships this ship is versing. As a result, this ship has to, under all circumstances, must be superior to them because it's a promo ship. But it also has to be adequately superior to make up for its risk and cost. The Avenger class itself, I'm not going to care about because that's the tier 5, but the Arbiter, the tier 6 variant, and the Arbiter fleet, which is the one that this ship is going to actually have to verse, that tier 6 ship costs about £20 sterling. Not entirely sure what that is in dollars, but you get the rough reference. Because now I'm going to say exactly what this Inquiry class could possibly cost you. It could cost you £5 if you're lucky. Really lucky. Yeah, but most people are going to be spending, if they're spending real life money, this is, not buying it from the exchange, will be spending upwards to £100, and if you're really unlucky, up to £300, as I once spent on a specific ship from the same promo set. My nemesis, the Discovery Connie. This is, in its own essence, a nightmare, because there is no guarantee you're going to get this ship at a reasonable price, and therefore these stats have to be reasonable to that, right? Well, here begins the actual versus then. Down you drop, and there's who she's against. The Inquiry class will be facing the Fleet Avenger Battlecruiser, the Arbiter Battlecruiser, the Fleet's Shepherd Miracle Worker Battlecruiser, and the Gagarin Miracle Worker Battlecruiser, which are, the reason they've been selected is, one, the Shepherd and Gagarin are the rivals to the Avenger line, but also this ship is a Miracle Worker itself. The Inquiry class is a Miracle Worker. So let's drop down to see these stats and start comparing, shall we? Big fruits are the first notes. Tier 6 ship available to Federation and Federation aligned only. Right. I thought this was the year of the Klingon. Cryptic. Yeah? What happened to that? Yeah. Why can it be criticised so badly? And this might be why. Okay, so Year of the Klingon go itself, apparently. Notably, these other 3 ships are, for all fairness and purposes, are only available to the Federation as well. However, the Avenger side, with very similar stats, I will note this though, have a Klingon variant that can be competed here. The Klingon variant does match stats, and I do believe there might be a Romulan one as well. These variants though, I should note, I believe it's the MMO Class Battlecruiser Tier 6. That ship will be able to cloak, so that's an immediate advantage to that one, and will also be available to the Klingons, so not Federation, but hey, Klingons are in this party too. Kapla to you. I see you over there, Augment. I feel your pain. This ship's stats is quite interesting as well, seeing as it is a hull modifier of 1.45. Now, that is very good. I will be honest right now, that's a very, very strong hull. Immediately going to guarantee this ship can take a lot of hull damage. Great. Compared to the fleet rival of itself, which is the Shepherd Miracle Worker, that comes with a hull modifier of 1.375. So, not as strong, but is in close detention to it. Problem for that as well is the Avenger class, Fleet Avenger, it's basically lesser self, has the exact same as the Fleet Miracle Worker. So, sorry, Avenger versus Shepherd, they're an equal. This ship is a little bit better on hull. Okay, good. Let's make sure the shields are following the same trend. Shield modifier is 1.15 versus 1.45 and 1.1. So the Avenger Battlecruiser actually has slightly better shields than the Shepherd Miracle Worker. And as you can see, I've avoided mentioning them right now, but the lesser variants, the standard ones that you buy for £20, they are in close proximity, but not quite as strong for both manners. This is kind of what you expect though, having a non-fleet. I should note here that a non-fleet, the fleet variants only cost about £5 more. So it's not like we're going, well, they're going to cost you 40 odd quid. If you've already got the Zen ship, it only costs you 1 fleet module to get these ships out of the fleet store, as well as having you as part of a fleet. And as a result, these ships only cost you about 25 quid, maybe 30. And that is a big issue for the Inquiry Battlecruiser. Weapon layout is identical across the board here. You're looking at 5 forward weapons, 3 aft. All these battlecruisers wield the same there, so there's nothing to comment on there. You have a turn rate for the Inquiry class of 8. This is versing a turn rate of 7.5 on the Shepherd class, and a turn rate of 9 on the Avenger Battlecruiser. Uh-oh. I hope that's not right. Even the Arbiter's normal form has 9. What the hell is this Inquiry? A ship that should be superior to its predecessors, doing with 1 stat lower. You can argue that it's for fairness and balance. I'm going to disagree with that once we start talking about bridge officers and tactical modules. I'm sorry, but turn rate of 8, that should be 9 at least. At the very lowest, that should be 9. It might even want to be 10, because it should definitely be in contention to the Avenger Battlecruiser. Fair enough, it's slightly better than the Shepherd class. Therein lies a problem. I mean, the Shepherd class makes up for that by being a miracle worker, but well, makes up on the Avenger, should say, by being a miracle worker, but against the Inquiry, that's a little bit... that's not good. Impulse modifier, 1.15. Same as the Shepherd class. Same as the Avenger class. Arbiter is up there with it. Gagarin is with it. Fair plays. Inertia rating 40. Uh-oh. I'm sorry, but I like having a higher inertia rating. The Shepherd class and the Avenger class both have it beat with 50. I know this is our personal standing. Some people prefer having a lower inertia rating. I like having a higher one just for the usefulness of the drift. That 10 points isn't a big deal inertia wise, but that is an uh-oh for me. Bonus power settings, plus 15 to weapons, plus 5 to shields, plus 10 to engines, versus, the same on the Shepherd, same on the Gagarin, same on, no, I thought that was same, but it's not. Avenger falls behind with having not having the shield power. Okay, that's fair play to me. Also, slightly weaker weapons. Oh, so here the Avenger falls back. Turns out the this is a Shepherd's class advantage section. But yeah, Shepherd class takes advantage here. And if for those that don't know how I'm picking who takes advantage, the value of the ship versus potential of the ship versus cost of the ship to equal its value is how I choose. So basically, the Inquiry must be superior. If it's not superior, it will lose it because it's vastly more expensive. Can load dual cannons. Oh yeah, come on, the battlecruisers, they all can. Die. Innovative mechanics. Okay, fair enough. We know what that is. A miracle. We have the command frequencies and your battlecruiser ship mastery package. Decent trait to talk about. Oh wait, is it? We'll get there. We'll talk about that. Ignoring trait and console right now because I don't really want to go too much into those two, especially since if I did, this Inquiry has no chance because either the Arbiter or the Gagarin will beat the Inquiry when it comes to both trait and console. Let's talk about console modification slots. Console modification slots allow you to have on the Inquiry class 4 tactical, 5 engineering, 2 science, 1 universal. Okay. This ship must not lose right now. Fleet Avenger 452. It's a fucking good thing the Inquiry is a miracle worker, because if it didn't have that universal slot, it lost straight away. That is way too close, and in fact that's dangerous because to me that's a draw. Cost wise, the Arbiter slash the Fleet Arbiter is currently actually better. It might have one less console spot, but it has not cost you anywhere near the same cost to get it. I mean, you're not spending 1.5 billion in the exchange to get the ship, for God's sake. Luckily, also on its side, is the fact that the Arbiter itself, though, has a one less science console, so the standard £20 one is kind of weak. However, Fleet Shepherd Miracle Worker destroys the Inquiry by being exactly the same specs. 4 tactical, 5 science, 4 tactical, 5 engineering, 2 science, 1 uni. And to make things worse, the Gagarin fleet, the normal Gagarin, is 1 less tactical position, which means that one can rival the Fleet Battlecruiser with console positions just by being its normal form. Yeah, I can't support the Inquiry on this one. Inquiry loses. Bridge officer stations. can this be its comeback? Lieutenant Commander tactical position along with a Commander Engineering Miracle Worker position. Fair play to you. Lieutenant Science and an Ensign Universal with a Lieutenant Commander Universal Intelligence. So we have a Commander Miracle Worker Engineering. This is great, but at the same time, I'm not entirely sure I would have wanted the Miracle Worker there. I was going to take full use of that. Universal Ensign is naff. I'll throw that away because Ensign is just, to me anyway. Lieutenant Commander Universal though is a good position. At least it's not a lieutenant. And it's an intelligence position too, so that gives it some quite good potential. My two favourite specialties are Miracle Worker and Intelligence. I will give it that. This goes up against the Fleet Run, which is a Lieutenant Commander Tactical Intelligence. So, okay. A Ensign Tactical, which makes no sense to me on a Battlecruiser, but okay. Commander Engineering, Lieutenant Science, and a Lieutenant Commander Universal. How does this differ? Well, the Tactical on the Fleet Avenger is a Universal on the Inquiry class. And yeah, that's it. You've then got the added Miracle Worker position over Command. And the tactical isn't limited, the intel isn't limited to a tactical position, it's on the Universal. You can take of that as what you will. It allows for some flexibility, I guess. So what I'm looking at here though, for bridge positions and what I'd be using this ship for, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. My Lieutenant Commander Universal on the Inquiry would be a tactical position. I'd end up using it as a tactical. And maybe an extra science in the Universal Ensign. Something extra in there. So, do you know what? The Inquiry gets the win for being a Miracle Worker Intel. Versus, on the Shepherd class side of things though. Uh-oh, this could be bad. So this is, we're talking very similar positions here, but not quite as good in some manners. So we've got our Lieutenant Commander Tactical, a Lieutenant Tactical Miracle Worker. Oh look, the same position. Commander Engineering Miracle Worker. Ensign Science, that's a throwaway, and that has immediately made sure that I would have to use this one as a Science Officer. Lieutenant Commander Universal. Some people won't rely on the Science position. Because I roll support, I'll end up having to use that as a Science position, or I might throw in an Engineer. But you're more likely to find that I've actually used this as, this is another build I used, and it is actually worthwhile doing. I'm pretty sure this is what most players do. The Lieutenant Tactical gets used as a pure Miracle Worker position, and you can use the Lieutenant Commander here as a tactical position, which gives this ship a great deal of strength. Is the two Miracle Workers enough to beat the Intel? Depends on your build really. On this case, it's a draw. And that's not good, because drawing with a more expensive ship does not boost the Inquiry. This is why I had to do this review across not one or two ships, but literally the broad band. Yes, the Inquiry is technically better with its bridge officer stations and, well, its actual tankiness. But unfortunately, stats wise, the only way the Inquiry class actually comes out superior is in its tankiness and its bridge officers. Otherwise, it outright loses to the Shepherd class fleet and is right out in rivalry with its fleet Avenger, its predecessor, its what should be its weakest form. How is this ship in promo packs? I'm sorry, but I'm struggling to get my head around that factor. This is supposed to be a promo ship. It should be performing way above where it is actually performing. But I guess this isn't 100% fair of me, so let's give it a bit more of an argument. We'll take a discussion into what its abilities can do. Now, there's a lot going on here. I'll try and show what I can show, and I'm also going to give credit to who I can give credit to for this. So let's get on to discussing its console. The console is the Variable Assault Deflector. Ironically, this comes along as part of a 3-piece set now. It's been combined with the, as you're seeing down here, the Arbiters and the Avengers consoles, which result in the Deadly Maneuver set. Now, we'll try to discuss what we can on this in a second. Oh, look at that. So, what do we get to talk about? Well, we have the Variable Auto-Targeting Armament. Now, this is the original one that comes with, oh, look at that, the tier 5 version. Pretty damn powerful console. Pretty damn powerful effects. No passive ability, because it was before the period of all tier 6 consoles having passives. Dang, it's tier 5. But the Quantum mode is very powerful. Tachyon mode. I'm sorry, but you can read these stats here. And the Chronoton mode is just silly. Now, the Quantum mode, high AoE damage and projectile, creates 2 Quantum Armament projectiles. So basically highly powerful quantum torpedoes and as such. The Quantum Armament projectiles fires micro quantum torpedoes every second on enemies within 10 kilometers. Pretty damn strong. The Tachyon mode is great because it creates a Tachyon armament. This causes a 20% shield penetration for kinetic damage on a 1.5 radius. Increases damage to shields from all energy types for 15 seconds. This is great because that one really allows you to bring shields down quick. What was I talking about earlier? And then we have the Chronoton mode, which again, similar ideas, but creates 2 Chronoton armament projectiles. This deals kinetic damage with a 20% shield penetration, bland, same distance, but a minus 60% to flight speed, slowing your enemies and aiding in control. Out of them, I tend to prefer to use the Quantum and the Tachyon modes. This is great. Always good to see a pretty damn powerful console available. Get down here and we have the one that you actually get with the Arbiter though. Now, since I'm comparing the Arbiter, this is the main console in question. The Arbiter Ablative Shield Generator, available, like I said, 3000 Zen, about £20. Engaging it will give your ship a ablative shield, secondary shield layer that absorbs with damage absorption and hull and shield heals. To yourself, absorbs 13,812.5 damage for 45 seconds. This is pretty damn good, because that's just a large amount of hit points that you can take extra. It's about a couple of torpedoes. No, it's about a very powerful torpedo, but since this is shields, torpedoes are less effective. And it's it's a relatively heavy bombardment from beam weapons, at least 1 or 2 cycles. Upon expiration, you gain 5,000 HP and 2,000 to your shields. For each facing shield, depending on Starship's hull repair and shield emitter stats. So these stats here can be heavily improved. In fact, people with high regeneration rates, especially regen tanks, will be able to get this up to such a high level that the exploration of this can take the ship from near enough dead to near enough full strength. I have actually seen that happen and it terrified me. Worse still, this console is available on any ship, so hey, one reason why they maybe get this. Ablative hazard shields. It also has a reduced damage to shields by 5% and improved shield regeneration rate of 10%, so it's an absolutely great console for anyone who's building a shield tank. This is going up against directly the Inquiry's one. Now we don't have the exact stats of what it can do. However, what we do know is that the variable assault deflector array, the VADA, routes a massive blast of phaser energy directly out of the ship's main deflector. This is an attack blast forwards. It's basically a cone attack. Think the Galaxy Dreadnought if you've sort of separated the way its phaser lance works then. So we can probably expect the same level of damage out of it as well. It can be most likely boosted with phaser damage boosting, as I have noticed that has happened in the past. But we can't really know until it's been tested. So benefit of the doubt, I'm going to highball it and say yes, you can boost the phaser damage. It causes significant damage to anything in front of the ship for several seconds afterwards, and the forward shield facing is significantly strengthened, so it will also strengthen your forward shields, repairing rapidly from any damage that has come towards it. So again, this console is actually better for DPS players, unlike the Arbiter's one, which is better for tank players. Hadada! English me. Additionally, innovations based on cruiser commands present. Oh, so that can help as well. And the ship allows the activation of the deflector blast to amplify with the effects of your cruiser commands and your teams. So this is good. So yes, you can amplify this with specific abilities. So that's good to know. Granting boost based on the commands that are active, weapon systems efficiencies. Command creates a boost of weapons power. Shield frequency modulation will boost the maximum shield. So you're only going to do one or the other, but it's not bad. Strategic moving will grant a resistance that impairs. Yeah, okay, no, that's just standard. Shut up. This console provides a passive boost to turn rate and phaser damage. So again, it's going to be great for people using phaser builds, DPS builds, and specifically anyone flying Federation, since Federations really do improve on phaser output. Much like Klingons can truly make effective power of a Disruptor build, the Federation has some terrifying potential with phaser builds. This console can be equipped on any starship, so yep, that's good to know. Okay. How do I value that ship versus the Arbiters? About equal. Depending on what the turn rate and phaser boost is, it would be depending on putting it above. I will now bring up for you guys. Pop! Wasn't expecting that. Hello Sky, you have a new desktop wallpaper. Sniped out my last stream. I'm so glad you like it. Right, let's see. So this is what I want to go to. Thank you, Zelos, for providing these. This is actually Eliota. I do advise checking out his YouTube channel. He's actually covered this ship as well, but specifically the ship in question. We want to take a look now at something he's provided for us here. This is from the stream that announced the ship. Deadly Maneuvers third part set is toughest and fastest. They said they named that after the actual quote of Riker. Now, this is great, but it gives you a plus 15% to maximum hit points of yeah, to what? English, mother trucker, can you speak it? Okay, great. So maximum hit points to something or everything. If that's to everything, that's extremely powerful. And plus 15% flight speed. Again, that's actually really good. So the 3-part set is great. Problem. I can't For love nor mercy, I cannot give you a reason to use the 3-part set. You'll be taking up 3 console positions, and one of them is a tier 5, so it grants no passive assertion itself. So you are quite literally getting, essentially, at the 3-part set, you're only really gaining another tier 6 console's worth of passive abilities. And on that note, the variable auto-targeting augment, as much as I do kind of say, yes, a good console, it's not that good. It's not worth taking up a 3rd console position for what's normally used for completely boosting out your DPS or really boosting out your tank or support abilities. It's not worth it. So getting toughest and fastest is currently obsolete to me. It means nothing. Deadly Maneuvers is fine, and actually Deadly Maneuvers now becomes a more feasible idea as by combining the VADA with the ablative hazard shielding. That is actually a fairly good combination there, because you do get your bonus weapons damage and you do get your bonus flight turn rate, so that's great for DPS, that is great for tanks, and it's great for support. At least the 2-part set is brilliant. The 3-part set is not worth it though, in my personal opinion. I want to also bring up the Gargarin now, because we're going to just quickly jump to the Gargarin's console, which is the refracting energy shunt. Now, up to this point, I've been telling you guys, this Gargarin is a problem for the Inquiry class, because the Gargarin is very much on par with it. It's a big rival. Then you have this, plus 15% to energy transfer rate. That's obsolete, really. Starship engineering readiness, great for tanks, and actually great for DPS as well. Refracting energy shunt, refracting proton damage and power drain. To the target within 4 kilometers, you deal proton damage of X amount. It's based on your actual full outgoing damage that you can deal and level, and minus 20 to all power settings. That's actually a really big deal and really great for drain builds. This is actually a console I would use for any support build or DPS. It is one of those consoles I advise to it, and I do tend to test this console out on a lot of my builds when I do go into building. Lucky for the Inquiry though, I do not say this one is superior, it's just on par. That's still not a good thing though. On par, not amazing. You know the issue we're getting here, don't you? Now this ship has to somehow, because the Inquiry is really running a level ground, personally speaking, I'm afraid its trait must, under all circumstances, must beat both the other ships. It cannot be equal to them. So let's actually start with them to give it a fair chance. We will go to the Arbiter's trait, emergency weapon cycle. Arbiter Battlecruiser comes also with the Mogul Heavy Warbird and the Karak Battlecruiser, why I call them Mogai. So yes, this is a trait available to a lot more areas. On emergency power to weapons, I always use this ability, have you noticed? Minus 50% weapons cost and plus 20% firing cycle haste for energy weapons. Doesn't matter how old the Arbiter's got. This is why there's such a big community argument over which is superior. Is it the Arbiter or the Gargarin? Which one is superior? This is one of the big arguments made for the Arbiter. Its trait is amazing. Yes, once you've unlocked it, you can use it on the Gargarin, which is the counter argument. Then again, that means you've spent 40 quid. This emergency trait, the emergency weapon cycle trait, is just one of the best DPS traits out there. And the worst part is, it's not even really DPS only. It's also a trait I recommend to support builds and a trait I would recommend to tank builds. Support, because it means that you can at least be more helpful when it comes to combat outgoing damage, and it's a very easy way to increase your outgoing damage and be on par with the rest of your friends, so as to not be too low in DPS. Also, tanks, this allows them to generate a huge amount of threat without wasting energy, and also, well, once again, this means that they deal a lot more damage than would be normally said. It's a damn versatile trait and is one of my top scoring traits. So immediately, yes, this is obvious, the Inquiry has something big to fight against. Go to the Gargarian and we get its trait. Entwined Tactical Matrices. This links energy and torpedo firing modes together. When firing torpedo spread, you will also apply a fire at will and scatter volley to yourself. When applying fire at will or scatter volley, you apply torpedo spread to yourself. This is done with the theory that it's very unlikely you're running beams and cannons. I know some people do. The closest you get to this is turrets on the aft. Which, to be fair, turrets are doing that little. You're probably focused on the beams anyway if you're on a beam build. But this trait, it's not absolutely amazing, but it's still a tough one to beat. The Entwined Matrices just gives you that extra kick of damage. It means you can trigger your torpedoes and you've at least got your fire at will scatter volley 1. So you might be torpedo 3, beam fire at will 1, and it's a fair amount of damage you're doing. That's if you're, or the shields are already down, you're going for that big damage. Or you set off your beam fire at will to hit maximum targets, and at least your torpedo spread 1 is triggered, so you can get a little bit of a punch in there if anyone who managed to knock the shields offline on. There's a little bit extra damage punched in there without using up an extra tactical position or tactical slot in the process. In essence, it kind of frees up a bridge officer position, but you've used up a trait slot to achieve this. This makes it rather meh, because using up a trait slot is kind of a bad idea when it's something when all you're really saving is a bridge officer position. It depends on how you use it. The Inquiry, well, okay, the Starship trait is weapons hot, deflectors to full. Again, it's a quote. While this trait is slotted, whenever your ship activates emergency power to shields, not weapons, you will gain a boost in weapons haste. Apparently this does stack, according to the people talking about it, well, Ambassador Cal, it does stack. However, weapons haste and your shield power and temporary secondary shields are applied. So you do gain secondary shielding again. Not actually sure if they said this stacks on top of the possible console that you could be using, your ablative shielding, and your shield powers are improved. Okay. Do you know, okay, right, first defense. Shield powers are underestimated. You do get some fucking great shield builds. But, this trait is very limited to tanks only. I cannot see this being used with support or DPS. Unless you're using emergency power to shields with some kind of bridge officer, crew officer to actually really boost that. It's in lines with an issue. Hopefully I can see better here. Oh, here we go. So the actual power boost you get, your secondary shields, is actually substantially strong apparently at 25,300 35 secondary shielding. That is very strong. It only lasts for 30 seconds, but that's going to take quite a bit of punishment. The fire cycle haste is 13.8%. Again, for energy weapons. It's good. It has its uses. Better than the Gargarans. But due to its limited nature, being limited, that this is really something for... It's primarily for tanks, maybe supports. The only reason I can see you'd be pushing this one on for DPS is if you need your ship to be able to survive a bit better in combat, which makes me wonder what kind of DPS ship you're flying. Slower DPS ships, maybe. Maybe. I don't see you wanting to use this on the faster ones. You're more likely to get out of combat and quickly recover. Especially considering if you take what I initially was saying, the Arbiter's 1 gives you, I want to say, substantially better. You're using much less weapons cost, so you're actually maintaining more damage output. No, it loses to the Arbiter. It definitely loses to the Arbiter. The Arbiter is versatile for all types. That doesn't go with a question. Whereas the Inquiry classes one is not so versatile. Also, damn, I hate what I'm about to admit. I'm gonna look at this and go, if you're buying this pack, I can think of a few ships here that are pretty damn good and might actually be better. La Serena, I'm flying that one myself because I love it. I've got the Vulcan Jellyfish, don't fly it so much, but its console is absolutely amazing. We all know the flight deck cruisers are absolutely monstrously strong. And there are some fun ones down below if you really want them. Yeah, I'm... Yeah, sorry. No. I can't push it. My final outcome is this. In order of supremacy versus nothing else, just actual supremacy. Which one is stronger? I am not including pricing here. Sod the pricing. We start with... Sorry. My favourite one. We start with the Gargarian Miracle Worker Battlecruiser and its fleet variant. They take third place. Then we have the Inquiry taking second place. It takes second place for being slightly more enduring. It has a better trait. Its console is about par. And well, to be fair, that was it. That's why it got better, because the trait was better. That's it. That's the only reason this one's really getting better. Better trait, I'm going to say slightly better defenses. Helps this one to beat the Gargarian, that's it. Then we have the Arbiter. Arbiter gets the landfall slide because just monstrously better in my opinion. It may lack, its fleet variant may lack one console, and its bridge officers may be a little bit not so versatile, but in fleet variant form, this ship at least keeps up close with its hull, outpaces the ship, outturns the ship, can match it gun for gun. Its trait destroys, really, the trait of the Inquiry class. Its console devastates the Inquiry class's console. It's better. This isn't even a moderate win for me. It's quite a heavy win. If I was going to score them against each other, so out of 10, and we're going to call the Arbiter now at, if the Arbiter was at position 10 out of 10, it doesn't actually rate 10 out of 10 with me, but 10 out of 10, the Inquiry would be 7 out of 10, and the Gagarin would be 6. So that's how I see him as different, and I can't say that's going to be a good thing for it. Because now if you go price-wise, the Inquiry loses outright. Gone. It has no chance. The Inquiry just became 4 out of 10. The Gagarin holds its position and the Arbiter maintains its because, of course, price doesn't change for them. Literally, the Inquiry is in a devastating zone. It's not good enough. Yeah, they've got to keep some balance to the game. Reputation ships are always slightly better than all the others, but they have to maintain some level of balance. Reputation? Promo pack ships are obviously always better. And it's nice that they brought it out, but let's be frank. We have got the copy-paste ship of Picard being copy-pasted on top of the Arbiter with slightly better stats to the Arbiter in a couple of areas. Not outright, just a couple. And it should be outright better. There should not be any proof for comparison between the two. And this is just purely because it's a promo ship versus a Zen counterpart. A £20 to £25 counterpart. I'm sorry, STO. You did a great job with the ship. I'll give you that. I like the concept design of it, but let's be frank, I didn't like it when it appeared in the show. Mostly because I thought to myself, we're only seeing one ship. That's the only reason I didn't like it. I love the ship's design. I'll be honest, I do actually really like the way it looks. This specific version, don't really like the other nacelle version. This one is, yeah, I like it. If I won this ship in just one pack, of course I'd fly it. But I cannot recommend this ship above any others. Stats wise, this ship scores 8 out of 10 with me, which means it scores the same as the Arbiter. If I went on its basic stats non-comparative wise, it's an 8 out of 10 ship with me. It's a great DPS vessel. It is relatively good in tank. Actually, it's pretty damn good in tank. Falls highly short as support, so it won't be used as support. This is why the Shepherd class is my favourite, because that one can be used as support. Unfortunately, this is one of those ships which I don't think I'm going to be looking forward to doing the actual review of. And since I'm being quite nasty to it now, I'm going to invite people to argue with me. So, if you guys disagree with my thoughts on this ship, then please comment below what you think of this ship. Do you think it's fair that this is a promo ship? Do you think it's fair that we haven't had a Klingon one? A Klingon-only promo ship in this time around, which I think is exactly what is the problem here. Well, are you looking forward to possibly being able to fly this ship? I will state now, one good benefit is that thanks to this ship coming out, it has actually taken all the legendary skins, so you can put Sovereign, Defiant, Intrepid, throw those skins onto the ship. You'll have that option available to you. But is it really good enough in your books? Do you like it? Me? It's one I could give a pass to. Quite comfortably give a pass to. My Fleet Gagarin does the job just as well. I don't need this ship. Hopefully, this ship will be great for someone. If you guys fly this ship, I really do invite you guys to come over to my Discord and share. If you get this ship and you start flying it, please share what you do with the ship, how you find it, because I would love to hear some positive things on it. Really would. With all this being said, I am getting long-winded on the outs here. So a huge thank you to my patrons and my donators, and an additional thank you right now to Tribal Typhoon, who is a patron but is also now a Twitch subscriber. Dude, almost, it's too much, dude. Thank you guys for the support, and hopefully I haven't pissed off anyone too much. Who am I kidding? I've pissed all of you off. I'm sorry. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Ciao for now.